Instead of signing each individual page in the tenure file, the probationer or faculty, tenure track faculty, will sign a review at the end of each quarter and each year. So you'll know when they need to do it, when there is a quarterly review description and instructions or a yearly review description and instructions. Now, I'm going to send a quarterly review. So to do that, I'm just going to go straight to the quarterly review description and instructions. And within the instructions here is the document itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It is going to ask you to log in to your Green River account if you are not already logged in. And make sure it's the right one, should be, and go ahead and download it. So I'm going to download it and then open it. And I actually want to open it with Adobe. So I'm going to go to Downloads and show it in my folder. Once you have the document open in your Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, on the right hand side you're going to look for Request Signatures, and you'll want to have updated your account from the old one in 2020 so that you can see this option. So go ahead and click on Request Signatures. And the first thing it's going to do is give you a pop-up asking who you'd like to sign it. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Ari to sign it. And I want to make sure to put the specifics on this. So it's Tenure Quarterly Review, but I'm going to say it is for Fall 2020, so she knows what to review. Please review Fall 2020 quarter within Tenure file and sign this document. And then I'm going to next specify where they should sign. So I'll click on that. And it will pull the document, and because there's lines already there in the file, it will be pretty easy. So it should automatically define, because there's a date there, it should say date when I hover over the line. And if I just click, it'll automatically put a date field in there. And then same with the full name and the signature here. So click, and it just adds the exact things, the fields that I need. And then once I'm done, I go ahead and at the bottom right, click Send. All right, well, what if I'm not doing the quarterly review or the yearly review with the probationer? What if I'm doing the Board of Trustees recommendation that all of the committee members need to sign? And if I'm doing that, I'm going to actually go back to Canvas. And I'm going to go to the recommendations to the Board of Trustees, description and instructions, because under the instructions for that, there's actually a document specifically made for the whole committee to review. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to download this file, and then I'm going to open up Adobe, and I'm going to go ahead and just open that file I just downloaded. And then here we go. All right, so what we can do is then the same process. I'm going to, on the right hand side, click Request Signatures, and it's going to give me this little pop-up. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of the people who are going to sign this document here. So first on that list probably would be me, right? So I'm going to put myself in, and then and if Ari was the probationer, I would not be including her because this is the committee itself. So I'm going to go with me and maybe Luther and James and Krish and then Paul. And all right, so I've got my 5 people. Once I have them all there in order, I want to make sure that this is specific to the quarter. So I'm going to say attestation for year 1. Please review recommendation and sign this document. Then once that's ready, I'm going to specify where to sign. So it will pull the document, and there's an option here. So if I just clicked here, it would assign it to myself. However, I want to do some advanced editing, so I want to turn advanced editing on. And what this does is it makes it so that I can say specific things should go within there. So what I'm going to do is for the committee chair signature, that's me. I'm going to make sure that I'm the one selected here, and I'm going to click on signature, and I'm going to drag it over to where the signature line is here. And then I'm going to go down to signer info fields, and I'm going to grab the date, and I'm going to put the date right next to there and make sure that it's that pink for me, or whichever color is right here. Then the next person, I'm going to go down to Luther, and I'm going to say signature. I want right here, as he's the one of the faculty members. Signer info fields, the date, drag and drop that right there. And then I'm going to choose the next person, James, also faculty member on the committee. So signature fields, signature, drag and drop right on that line. Signer info fields, date, right next to the date. And the next person, Krish, is the dean. So we'll go to signature fields, drag the signature over. Oh, and I didn't quite get it on the line, so I'm going to try again. Drag and drop right there on the line. And then signer info fields, date, right next to the date. And then the last person, the student, I'm going to click on Paul. And then same signature fields, signature, right there on the line. Signer info fields, date, drag and drop it over. Perfect. All right, so now they're all linked, and you'll see the colors coordinate. So we've got the pink, then the green, then the blue, then the black, then the orange. So you know who is assigned to sign where. So once I've done that, I can sign, then send. So because I'm the first person in line, I can just sign it first and then send it to the next person. So I'm going to go ahead and click sign, then send. And because this is where my name is, I'm going to click there to sign. It's going to use my signature in Adobe that I've already created. It may ask you for one if you have not. And then I'm going to click to sign down here at the bottom. And as you see, it automatically filled the date for me. All right, so now what's going to happen, it's going to tell you right here, copy has also been sent to your email, and it was sent for signature to the next person in line, Luther. And then they will get it in order, one after the other. And then everyone gets a copy of the finalized document.